This odd name, the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment, is just to say that we play music that was written during the Age of Enlightenment, 17th, 18th, early 19th century, and we use the instruments basically as they were in those days. So, for example, this violin I've got here, it's a copy of a violin made in 1742 in Italy, and it doesn't use the usual metal strings. It's got gut strings, as they would have played those days. These days, it would actually be metal. And the bow I've got is, actually, this is an original one. Nobody knows quite when it was made, probably late 18th century. And you can see it looks slightly different from maybe some of the old ones. This white here is because you've got bone here rather than ebony. And this fiddle was made for me a few years ago by a guy called Rubio who lives in Cambridge. Libby, do you want to talk about what you're using? You've got more than one bow there, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm playing on a bow that's a copy of a bow that was built in 1750 in Paris. It's got this is really amazing. Can you see that funny tip at the end? It's all for show, really. And this frog is built out of mammoth ivory, fossil ivory. There you go. Very, very old ivory. No, it's a copy. It's a strange bow. Who's got a modern bow? Jennifer. Yeah. Well, I mean, they look roughly the same. I mean, the old days, not even very long before this, 50 or so years, there were bows that people were playing that were really like you could shoot an arrow from them. And they just got stronger and stronger. And so as the demands of the instruments got bigger, the bows became stronger, you got heavier wood, and it started to curve this way instead of that way.
Martin, you've got an old instrument there, haven't you? That's not a copy. That's actually...
Basically, this was made in, I think, 1697, and it's actually older than any of the music we're going to play, which is quite interesting. Made in London.
The main difference that, as a cellist of the 18th and 19th centuries, we didn't use the spike, so you'll see that I just hold the cello rather than have a spike to help support it. And you'll see as we get on into the Beethoven at the end of the program that you wish you had a spike.
The cool thing actually is that when you get onto the Beethoven, you wish you had a chin rest.
Yeah.
Yep.
As well. That was sort of invented around 1820.
So that's just a little bit about the instruments that we're using to play on. We're going to be looking at the way in which some of the composers who were working at this time that we play the music of, the 18th century, put their music together. And the idea is just that we'll look at the way that some of these things were put together and then start to think about how you can use some of those ideas to put your own compositions. How many of you are doing GCSE, for example? Just about everybody, most of the people. For that, you're going to be doing some writing of your own music, probably. And we're just going to try and show you how some of those pieces were put together by Mozart and Haydn, composers of that sort, and also how you can do it. Maybe, actually, we could get you to play a piece today that you put together. Anybody want to do that? It's gone very quiet there. Well, we'll see, but I promise you can see at the back here, we've brought some instruments in. We've got some cellos, violins, trombones, pianos, and later on I'll be taking a few sort of ideas from you if you'd like to come up and play those. First of all, though, we're not just here to talk about the way that pieces are done and, all that sort of stuff. We're also here just to entertain you. And we thought we'd start by playing for you the second, just the end part of a string quartet written by Haydn in about 1775 or so. Is this the one? This is nicknamed The Bird, isn't it? Mm. Maybe you'll see when you listen to it why. So we'll just play that for you. So, if I can say to you now, what was the structure of that piece? How was it written? What were the different sections in it? Probably not too many takers who want to come up and give an explanation of actually how Haydn put that bit together. So let's just start with a few helping words that might help you to actually see how he's put that thing together. You've got a tune that he starts with, and I feel it's almost like you've got a compass. You're standing here, you've played your tune, you've got to decide what you're going to write next, and there's 4 directions you can go in. Not north, south, east, or west. The easiest thing to do, what's the easiest thing to do when you've done a tune, if you've written something for the beginning of a piece and you want to go on from there? Any ideas, anybody? No? Well, the easiest thing is just do it again. Repeat it. So repetition is one of the things that composers do. The other thing you could do is to take the tune and actually do something with it, change it in some way. You could develop it. So repetition or development, or you get bored with where you are, you just try something new, completely new idea. Then sometimes composers use it's like a bit of glue just to stick things together. They may know that they're going to a new tune, but they want to find a way of getting there. So they have what you might call a transition, a way of getting from one place to the other. And actually, that's basically it. You've got 4 ways of doing it. You can repeat, you can develop, you can bring in a new idea, or you can just do some messing around to get you to the next time. Let's just have a look at the beginning of this one. I wonder, actually, Libby, would you just play the first 8 bars of what we've just played at C? And then just play on from there. And when we've done those first 8 bars, well, let's just the tune first. Just the tune. Okay. That's the end. 8 bars of a tune. At the beginning of the movement, he just goes back and does that again. But not this time. Should we just play the first 8 bars and go on? Just have a listen and tell me what you think he's doing. Is he developing what he had? Has he brought something completely new in? Or is he just repeating? So what happened after the first 8 bars there? Sorry? Shout somebody. Somebody was saying... Sorry? The cello stopped playing, that's quite interesting. So there was one thing that changed there. The violin had something that was a bit like the tune, and the viola and second violin, we were sort of just playing something that's... Yeah, should we play... So you remember how the tune goes at the beginning, and then after 8 bars we do... So, is that a repetition of the tune? No. I can't hear a damn thing here, actually. Is the tune repeated there? You think the tune's been repeated? No, you were joking. All right, I'll get you up later. We'll do a bit of work together on that. So, tune wasn't repeated. Was there anything that made you think it sounded like the tune or not? Was it completely different? No, it's a development. It's a development of the tune. He takes the same rhythm and he puts it on different notes. Just play the first couple of bars that you have on your own. Right, and then we have... a little bit different. It develops it. And he goes on developing a little bit. Let's just take it from somewhere like 4 before D, we're going to play from, in our parts. When you hear something that you think is a transition, a change in that's going somewhere else, just shout it out. If you think you can hear a new tune, shout out that. And we'll see where it's going. Sorry? It changed the mind, that was new. Shall I get a couple of you? Let me get a couple of you up here actually to try that. Sam, do you want to come up? If you go round there and through that, I'm going to volunteer you because you were very good. You heard there was no cello there. Do you want to come up as well? So you are Jenny. This is Jenny. Jenny and Sam. Okay, round of applause, please. Now, Jenny she's going to get these ones. You're going to get the repetition. So anything you hear that you think is a repeat, put your hand up and shout out, repeat! Right? If you think it's sort of the same but a development, you can shout that out. Sam, you can get anything that's new, just shout that out. Or if you think there's a transition from one bit to another. Right. Will you try and help them? Right. Actually, I think I won't play this time. I'm going to go with you. Right. So from where you play from C. Okay. Okay, this is just the tune. Repeat. Sort of repeat development, yes. What are you ready? Development. Change. New. Yeah. Come on, you're not helping, you guys. Huh? Transition. Absolutely right. More transition. Change of key. What's this? What's happening here?
Meeting.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, what's going on now? Repeat! Yeah, very good. Right, well done. You can go now. That's great. Thank you very much. That sort of way of looking at tunes and how you put them together, I mean, that could be used for any music. Anything you hear on top of the pops, if you hear some Indian music, anything. It's all constructed like that. It's all basically you start with an idea, and then you do something with it. You repeat it, you develop it, you bring out something new.